In today's episode. So you want to be kept up to date about your son's behavior? No problem. Revenge is dish served very cold. Ha ha ha. No. So let's get started. So you want to be kept up to date about your son's behavior? No problem. I have done so for the past 13 years now. Most parents are just fine. They care for and love their child, run, and treat me and my colleagues with respect. You have the occasional parent you don't see because they don't care, the helicopter or curling parent, and the parent who doesn't believe they're raising Satan's offspring. The latter is the one I had the misfortune to deal with for 2 fluffing years. I was mentor of 20 kids in their first 2 years of secondary school. It has its ups and downs, with the biggest up that you knew every fiber of every kid in 2 years of relative hell if you had kids who were a nightmare. Kid started secondary school with me as mentor. He started out all right. There were some minor things that were normal for teenager trying to fit in. It all started after the Christmas holidays of that first year. Nothing special happened, it's like a switch just flipped inside this kid. Bullying classmates and other students, pushing around, being extremely disruptive in class, cursing at teachers, grabbing things up to the point we suspected he stole things from teachers and students alike, but lack of security cameras were a problem. Mom and dad were invited many times, school counselor and my boss sat in on many of these conversations. Mother denied and that her son didn't do such things. We didn't get any further, but had no grounds on expelling the son. Summer break came, and due to the fact that a lot of things went missing, cameras were set up. Classes started in year 2 and first day he let me know he was there and had changed, for the worse. We had 5 calls with mom in that first week alone. Mom was invited once more and she then was surprised that I was the only teacher complaining. Like, what the actual heck, lady? Did you not listen that multiple teachers complained through me, and that I told you multiple times what they said? No. She demanded that she got a call or email from the teachers herself if her son did do anything. And I quote, "But I highly doubt that, since I know my son won't ever do the things you said." Fuming at this point, I said I would talk to my colleagues. Cue the malicious compliance. Mommy wanted a call or email from the teacher who saw her son doing/saying things he shouldn't. You ask and we get it. Kid was being such an a-hole. By now he was well known throughout the school. So in the next school-wide meeting I told her demand. Some frowns here and there, but then I saw it. Eyes glistening, evil grins started to come along with the evil laughter of teachers. By this time the kid had set a record in the digital student entry system. 20 entries a day from him alone. It all started the next day. Kid came onto the school property, walked up to a classmate and started insulting him and his mother with cancer. 2 teachers heard and saw him do that, so 2 teachers sent an email to Mommy Dearest. 3 periods of lessons with a variety of terrible behavior. 3 emails were sent yet again. During first break, kid threw a bin through the canteen. 3 teachers and the custodian saw it. 4 emails about that. Then the custodian emailed again, telling that he refused to clean up after him and threw a chair before leaving. Another 5 periods for that day with 6 teachers. Science had 2 teachers, so you guessed it, 6 emails and 3 phone calls to Mommy Dearest. So on average Mommy got 15 emails a day from the teachers alone. I had the immense pleasure to call or email every day to give a recap. Every email was sent with a red notification, so every email Mommy had to click on that message every single time. After 2 weeks Mom called and the conversation went like this. Mom, yeah, I saw the emails. This is getting a bit much now, me, is it? But the last time we spoke here at school you demanded that every teacher and other worker at school would call and / or send you an email about the goings-on of kid. We are simply adhering by your request to be kept up to date, and that you hear from my colleagues personally. Mom, you can stop now. Me, unfortunately we can't. Since kid does all these things, it is our duty to keep parents up to date on what their child does at this school. Also, you requested it, and we don't want you to get upset by not knowing what is going on with kid. Mom, this is getting out of hand. Me, is it? I don't think so. My colleagues even said they like it so much that you are such an involved parent, and that you like to hear from them. Thank you for that. By now click star. This went on for another 8 weeks. Mom called or emailed a couple of times a week and got the same response from me and other teachers and personnel. It went like this until kid screwed up on a big scale. While we were busy getting all kinds of help around kid, he finally bombed every chance to stay at our school. Kid decided that shouting, cursing, insulting and wishing the worst possible diseases upon my colleagues and myself weren't enough anymore. When I wanted to talk to him yet again about his behavior, he picked up a chair and decided to hit me with it, in full view of the class, a colleague and the cameras. Kid was tackled and pinned down by classmates. Colleague called the cops, who have their lovely station across the street, got the kids of kid, and I managed to get away with no broken bones, but some big bruises. School filed charges for me. Fun part is that I got to sit with mommy dearest and dad, and even then she tried to deny that her son would do such a thing, until she and dad got to see the footage. The look on their faces was priceless. I wish I had the permission to record it so that I could watch it time and again with a soda and some popcorn. Kid was expelled, got some hefty community service and a fine. Normal here, got a juvenile record as well. To answer a likely question, where was dad in all this? Dad was apparently kept in the dark about what kid did. The emails were sent to a shared email account, but since email on phones wasn't a thing back then, he never saw the emails as she hid them. Dad divorced mom as apparently she had been spinning a lot of lies about a lot of things. Good part, dad felt so sorry for what his son had done that he sent care packages for all personnel at the school. Best part? We didn't have to deal with kid or mom ever again. We got his brother though, and we continued the emails and calls with dad to tell him what a wonderful kid this boy was. ETA, I'm getting a lot of crap that I did nothing to help this kid. I left out what I did as this is malicious compliance. I talked with the school counselor, therapists, and even CPS. We had our suspicions about his behavior. I just had my degree for 3 years, and I know this sudden change is a huge red flag. CPS did an investigation and concluded no reason for further action. I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that the parents agreed to a visit from CPS, but not accept anything else, even though CPS suggested they talk with us about some tests and getting kids some help. We kept reporting to CPS and asking for their help. The only thing mom kept saying was my son wouldn't do that. He isn't like that. Did she know something? Maybe. I talked with this kid, treated him fair and honest, tried to see what was going on. Referred him to people who he can turn to who, although they are mandated reporters, have confidentiality clause, meaning I don't hear anything he doesn't want me to know. They went to talk to him. He just told them to F off. School administration had my back and helped where they could. I jumped through every hoop possible just to see how and if I could help him. So please, cut me some slack. I did what I could, and still I wonder if I could have done something more. Was it abuse? Could be. I hope not, but it's possible. Maybe some mental health issues that reared its head? Also a possibility. Did mom know something if something happened? Who knows? Or was she just a mother who loves her child so much she is willing to oversee every wrongdoing of her son? I don't know. To get certain help you need a paper trail. One part is that parents know about the issues. We may have gone far, but we didn't want that mom would say that we didn't contact her in any form. He was a good kid, he just did wrong things, and there was no stopping him. He had a mother who defended his every action. I just hope that he has a decent life now, a healthy life with happiness in it. Revenge is dish served very, 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 very cold. In my young 20s I moved to a new city to try start my career in life. Money was very tight, but I was confident I would get things up and running. In my job search I came across a promising opportunity at a small firm, the firm. Instead of offering me the job, the owner said he would like me to come in for 2 days and work. If it was fit they would hire me, and if not they would pay for the 2 days. Money was so tight at the time that, I figured taking the bus to and from the job was a luxury I could not afford and walked an hour each way to get there. Money was very tight. I did good work both the days and worked very hard, but it was not a fit. The owner then tells me, I know we said we would pay you, but it's just too complicated to set you up for just 2 days, so you will just have to be happy you got the experience with us. The way he acted really rubbed me the wrong way. I was mad as I really needed the money, but as I was trying to find a job and I figured it was not in my best interest to make waves as word may get around I was difficult. I did however decide that someday, some way I would get my revenge on the owner. I did find a good job that lead to great career. But I always kept tabs on the owner looking for the time and place to get some revenge, and even a few times considered some more juvenile methods. Just short of 20 years passed, and now I was very senior in my chosen professional, but instead of working for a small firm, I was a leader in a very large national company that hired firms. As it turns out, we had a large contract come up that I was the lead executive on the procurement team in the area the firm operated in. Things have changed a bit over the years, but bidding on these contracts was at the firm's expense at the time back in the early 2000s. However, to safeguard them from wasting too much money, the bidding would be in stages. Well, sure enough, the owner and his firm put in an exploratory bid. They were not perfect for the job, but they could actually do it, so I assisted in them moving to the next stage, and the next stage, and then the final stage. The easiest thing I could have done was shut them down right away and got a bit of revenge, but they were qualified, so I did not do that. There was some risk to letting them go through to the end though. Though I was the lead, it was a team decision, and to be honest, if they had the best proposal despite my thirst for revenge, I would vote for them. The proposals and presentation came in, and luckily the other firm was a bit better, and we went with them. Normally the executive lead didn't deliver the bad news in the bid process, but I volunteered to take on the call, and that was my little dose of revenge. It was fun to call the owner, who had no idea we met 20 years ago, and tell him we were impressed with your proposal, but it is just not the right fit. I know you must be disappointed to not get the contract, but at least you got great exposure to our process. I know I should have used his own words from 20 years ago, but I could not bring myself to do it. The firm must have done about 200 hours of work on their proposal, so I figured that was payback for my 16 hours with 20 years of interest. Ha ha ha. No. I used to work at a well-known grocery store in Florida. The store had a very nice, premium resort/community across the street from it. The street was about a mile or two away from the highway, so it was an incredibly busy street. The residents of the resort had a terrible habit of doing their grocery shopping and taking their carts all the way back to their house/rental, and just leaving the cart in the resort's common area. They actually weren't allowed to take the carts out of the parking lot, but the store manager specifically told us we weren't allowed to stop from leaving the lot. Anyway, whenever too many carts ended up in the common area, the manager of the resort would call the store manager and give him an earful. The solution to this was the ASM and CSM, both good guys, would get in the ASM truck and go get the carts, easy peasy. Well, one day, the store manager gets the call from the resort manager. Side note, the resort manager hated the store manager and the store manager hated the resort manager. I hated them both. Too many carts on his property, and they needed to be removed immediately. Here's the problem, the CSM was promoted and went to another store, good for him, and the ASM was on vacation, he earned it. So the store manager tells me that I had to go and get the carts from the resort. And the conversation went as followed. Store manager, I need you to go over to resort and collect our carts. Me, I don't have a car, let alone a truck. Store manager, that's okay, you can walk. Me, OOH. No, that is not going to happen. Store manager, excuse me. I need you to get those carts. Me, okay, let me see if I got this right. You want me to cross a busy street that has a median, grab a bunch of carts, cross that same busy street that still has a median because you wouldn't let us stop customers from leaving the lot with the carts, do I have that right? Store manager, visibly annoyed, just do it. Another thing to add, I am keenly aware of my rights as an employee, and will not do anything to jeopardize my or anyone else's safety. The store manager and I had argued about this many times. I also instilled that belief in my coworkers, so he wasn't going to get them to do it either. Me, no. Remember the last time we had a really bad thunderstorm and you tried to get me to go out and get carts and I refused and you threatened to write me up and the CVS across the street got struck by lightning? Yeah, same energy, not putting myself in danger. Store manager, sigh fine. I'll figure something out. And off I toddle. Sadly, the story doesn't end there. About an hour later, I'm outside getting carts from the lot, when resort manager comes stomping up to me. Resort manager, what the F asterisk CKDO you think you're doing? Me, excuse you, who do you think you're talking to? Resort manager, your carts are still on my property. It's been hours. Go get them. Me, I don't work for you, so no. Take it up with the manager. Resort manager, stunned silence because nobody talks to him like that. I will. And then we'll see. Resort manager stands there for a minute, expecting me to comply. Me, if you want to speak to the manager, you're going to have to go inside the store. Shocked that someone had the unmitigated gall to talk to him like that, he sputters something about getting me fired and storms into the store. I grab a few more carts and head back inside to punch out and leave. As I leave the break room, I see store manager and resort manager are getting into it. Your carts are on my property. Customers aren't allowed to take our carts off the lot. My guests make more money than you do. Your guests make more money than you do. It was all delightful juvenile. It almost got to the point of violence, but the sheriff's deputy showed up just in time. Curse you, random good Samaritan. Resort manager retreats to his fiefdom, store manager retreats to his lair, and I leave for the night. The fallout was petty to say the least. ASM comes back from vacation, literally the next day, and he and I head to the resort to pick up our carts. We get to the common area and they're nowhere to be found. To make an already long story short, the resort manager had decided that our carts were now property of the resort and decided to sell them for scrap. Scrap yards won't buy the carts because they're stolen property. The authorities get involved and we get our carts back. And I quit a few months later. Thanks for watching.